Hey everybody, welcome. I've even got the right audio. Okay, we're all set today for Steve's Virtual Piano Bar. Thank you for coming. This is afternoon. Look how bright it is outside. We're in the middle of the day, so I know I'm really living dangerously here, having coffee in the afternoon, because it's here in Michigan. It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and having a cup of coffee. So this is going to be a little bit of a relaxed Steve's Virtual Piano Bar, but thanks for coming. I'm just going to do a few songs today, and I'd like to remind you that on Christmas, Christmas Eve, December 24th, starting at 6:30 p.m., I'm going to be doing what could be a marathon. I'm starting at 6:30, and we'll see how long I last. 6:30 p.m. Eastern to ? Yeah, I don't know how late I'm going to go, but I did this a couple years ago. It was a lot of fun, a lot of Christmas music, a lot of secular Christmas music, some sacred Christmas music. I might even throw in a Hanukkah song. Who knows? But it's going to be fun. So in the meantime, today I'm just going to take it nice and easy. In fact, that's a good song to start with. Let's take it nice and easy. It's gonna be so easy for us to fall in love. Hey baby, what's your hurry? Relax and don't you worry. We're gonna fall in love. We're on the road to romance, that's safe to say, but let's make all the stops along the way. The problem now, of course, is to simply hold your horses. To rush would be a crime. Nice and easy does it every time. Okay, so take it nice and easy, Steve. Yeah, okay. We'll keep it in 2. We're going to have plenty of time to swing out. We can even swing in 2, though. We're on the road to romance, that's safe to say, but let's make all the stops along the way. The problem now, of course, is to simply hold your horses. To rush would be a crime. Nice and easy does it. Nice and easy does it. Nice and easy does it every time. I'm going to say that again. Nice and easy does it. Nice and easy does it. Nice and easy does it every time. All right, nice and easy, Steve's Virtual Piano Bar today. Turn down the reverb for a second. Taking a little space between songs, having a little sip of coffee between songs. I don't think I'm going to be drinking red wine this afternoon, but hey, you never know. The day is not over yet. I don't have any live visitors here. I haven't been actually very active asking that people come here to watch it live, but I think that's going to be in my New Year's resolution list. Get some more people in here to come in live, and maybe some guest artists. I almost had some guest artists come in today, but it's too close to the Christmas holidays and all that, and people are just so busy, and including me. I had a private party last night in Sheboygan with a wonderful group of people up there with Mark Jones and his friends and family. That product placement. Hey, yeah, I should be getting a little, you know, like Morning Joe. Hey, Jay Sliverheels. Do you ever watch Morning Joe and see how they're almost blatantly sponsored by? They're not sponsored by Starbucks, but they sure have enough Starbucks cups on their set to make it seem like that they're sponsored by Starbucks. Anyway, it's a cup of coffee in the afternoon. I don't do it all the time because if I have too much coffee in the afternoon, it's hard to sleep. But today, I just feel like having coffee. Yeah, speaking of, I don't ever talk politics on Steve's Virtual Piano Bar, but Morning Joe, he's a conservative. I'm not going to say what my political philosophy is, but I did grow up in Kane County and McHenry County, Illinois, which were Republican bastions, and I don't know if I strayed very far from that. I'm not a radical on the left or the right, but anyway, Morning Joe has very opinionated editorial comments and guests, and it's quite an interesting show. I think that show is watched by people of all parties. Republicans, Democrats, Independents will watch Morning Joe because they seem to have a kind of a pulse of what's going on. And it's on MSNBC, which is a cable network, so not everybody gets it. I think you can get it, by Googling and I'm not sure, but I think you can get the audio for free for sure. So anyway, I'm gonna get myself in trouble here by even whispering about politics. So I'm gonna just play songs that everybody loves and likes, like some Sinatra. Since I have my Sinatra hat, here we go. One of my musician friends and that I hire to play with this 20-year-old kid up in Sedona thought this was a song by Dizzy Gillespie, but actually this song is not written by Dizzy Gillespie or did not originate with Dizzy Gillespie. It's a much older song than that. So here we go. Get your coat and grab your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter-pat and that hurry bend is your step? Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. I'm not afraid this rover crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. In the shade with those blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid this rover crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I was trying to figure out this song last night at a Christmas party. There's Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Oh, Rudolph The red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows like a light bulb. All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as he shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, he'll go down in history. Boogieing. Oh, then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa, he came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Like Christopher Columbus. I'm glad the reindeer reacted like that and not in a jealous way where they thought, he was being too uppity by being successful. Yeah, let's go with that. Rudolph. And Nat King Cole and Sinatra and just about any other of the great singers who sang in that era did this song that was actually written by Mel Torme. And he had a songwriting partner named Robert Wells, who I met many years ago. And he was very proud that he had written 8 bars, the bridge to this song. And I asked him, I said, you wrote the bridge to Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, which is called the Christmas song. He said, yep. And I said, I bet you retired right after writing those 8 measures of music. And he said, yep. He retired and he bought a nice little cabin up here in northern Michigan. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes on a glow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. So I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Okay, well, if you like Christmas songs during the Christmas season, I'm going to be doing a marathon Christmas Eve, December 24th, this Sunday evening, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Steve's Virtual Piano Bar, which we abbreviate as VPB, Christmas Eve, December 24th, 6:30 p.m. It could be a marathon. It could be a long session. Hi, Trish. Trish is here. Cozy song, yes. Nat King Cozy, Nat King Cole. So I don't have to, I'm not tied to doing Christmas songs today, or, you know, I think it's going to be 99% Christmas songs on Christmas Eve, but today, you know, we can do a little bit of other stuff. So it seems so odd to be on during the day, but one of the reasons I do it is because it's European friendly. But Gerlinda, who was the instigator, who had the conception to do have a European friendly time for Steve's Virtual Piano Bar, she's not going to be here today. So, but she'll be here Christmas Eve. She's going to stay up late, because if I start at 6:30 p.m., the time change, it's 6 hours later in Paris or Vienna, and she's in Austria, so it'll be midnight, 12:30 a.m. So, well, I've got the Sinatra hat on. Here's another Sinatra song. Fairy tales can come true, it can happen to you if you're young at heart. For it's hard, you will find, to be narrow of mind if you're young at heart. You can go to extremes for impossible schemes. You can laugh when your dreams fall apart at the seams. And life gets more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on the way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? For as rich as you are, you're much better by far to be young at heart. If you should survive to 105, think of all you'll derive out of being alive. And this is the best part, you have a head start if you are among the very young at heart. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? And for as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. For if you should survive to 105, think of all you'll derive out of being alive. And here is the best part: you have a head start if you are among the very young at heart. Okay. Oh, we've got a request from Trish for Isn't It Romantic? That is one of my favorite songs written by Rodgers and Hart. I think it was in the 30s. And Sinatra did do it. I don't think he had the original version of it, but he did do it, so I'll keep the Sinatra hat on. But Isn't It Romantic? It has beautiful words and melody to it. And it's... we'll just pretend we're in an evening nightclub with a very soft light background and very quiet noises of the dishes clattering in the background, and there's a romantic couple sitting there having their hors d'oeuvres before their dinner and whispering to each other, and it's a very romantic setting. Good evening, Ed Marie. We're going to be doing the song Isn't It Romantic? So. Isn't it romantic? Music in the night, a dream that can be heard. Isn't it romantic? Moving shadows write the oldest magic word. I hear the music playing in the trees above, while all the world is saying we were meant for love. Isn't it romantic? Music in the night, a dream that can be heard. Isn't it romantic? Every note that sung is like a magic word. Sweet symbols in the moonlight. Do you mean that I will fall in love perchance? Isn't it romance? Isn't it romantic? Music in the night, a dream that can be heard. Isn't it romantic? Every note that sung is like a magic word. I hear the music playing in the trees above, while all the world is saying we were Isn't it romantic? Music in the night, a dream that can be heard. Isn't it romantic? Every note that song is like a magic word. Sweet simples in the moonlight. Do you mean that I will fall in love perchance? Isn't it romance? All right, the perfect song, as Jay Sliverheels points out, from Going Into Wiki, I believe. And that song, by the way, Jay Sliverheels is an old friend of mine. He's using his stage name, so maybe he doesn't want his real name mentioned. He's kind of somewhat of a famous guy on Chicago radio. And Jay invited me to the WGN studios there on Michigan Avenue one night after my gig. I was playing that night at Crickets on Walton. I think that was on Walton, sort of a cabaret piano bar. And I was at WGN studios. Eddie Schwartz had a show, and he was interviewing the famous cabaret piano player who worked with Ira Gershwin. Gosh, what was his name? Do you remember this, Jay? And you invited me over to the WGN studios to see Eddie Schwartz interview Michael Feinstein. So I got to meet Michael Feinstein. I actually met him more than once, but that was the first time that I'd met him. And we sat in the room while Eddie Schwartz was interviewing Michael Feinstein, who is one of the go-to guys for American cabaret music. There's really not too many who more knowledgeable about American cabaret music than Michael Feinstein. So we watched Eddie Schwartz interview Michael Feinstein, and what did Eddie Schwartz play for the first song? He played Michael Feinstein's version of Isn't It Romantic? So I wonder if you even remember that, Jay Sliverheels, if you're still here. So anyway, that was a memorable night, and it was in the winter in Chicago. And since I was playing at Crickets, I could walk over to WGN Studios. I believe I walked. Yeah, it's kind of walking distance, one end of the Miracle Mile to the other. So maybe, I can't remember if I walked. But anyway, I was wearing this ratty old winter coat because I had come from northern Michigan to play this gig. And I walk, meeting Michael Feinstein, all dressed up in his, very fussy wardrobe, and I'm in this ratty winter coat. I was a little bit embarrassed, but anyway. Oh, thanks, Jay. I think it's the afternoon coffee that keeps my voice in shape. So, another one of my favorite composers, speaking of American cabaret, is Irving Berlin. So we're going to face the music and dance. I know Anne-Marie likes to dance. And the world is full of troubles. But what do you do when you have troubles all around you? You dance, of course. There may be troubles ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance. Before the fiddlers have fled ask us to pay the bill. And while we still have the chance, let's face the music and dance. Soon we'll be without the moon, humming a different tune. And then there may be teardrops to shed, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance, dance. Let's face the music and dance. Soon we'll be without the moon, humming a different tune. And then, before the fiddlers have fled, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance, dance. Let's face the music and dance. All right, we're going to face the music. If truth be told, in my opinion, that tempo was a little bit too fast for dancing. You want more of a, so I'm going to go to a medium, more of a medium tempo. Louis Armstrong used to say, you don't want it to be too fast or too slow. You want it to be half fast. It's an old musician's joke. We probably told that joke at the Chateau Louise, huh? Jay Sliverheels, when we worked together. Yep. Jay was in my band for a while before he got famous in radio. Yep. So here's a medium tempo, a nice dance song. It had to be you. It had to be you. Get a little. I wandered around and finally found somebody who could make me be true, make me be blue, and even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss. They wouldn't too, for nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. Had to be you, wonderful you. Had to be you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss. They wouldn't do, for nobody else gave me a thrill. With with all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. Great old standard by Isham Jones. And like any other song or song composer, that song has a story. Isham Jones wrote that song in the late 20s, I believe. Yeah, it was, and then he made so much money from that song and maybe a couple of others like I can't remember. He wrote two other famous songs. What's this song? Anyway, and he retired because he didn't need to work anymore. So Isham Jones, I think, turned his band over to a collective. It was in those days they had bands that were sort of collectives. They didn't have an actual band leader, but in time, Isham Jones' band morphed from a collective into being the Woody Herman Band, and Woody Herman, of course, became one of the top big bands later on in the late 30s and 40s, and was known for hiring some of the great jazz soloists in his band, Woody Herman. Woody Herman. I saw him live once in 1965 in Chicago. 1965. In 1965, I was just a little boy, wasn't I, Diane? Going to Crystal Lake Community High School. So here's if you're the Diane that I'm thinking you are, who was in my high school class, I went to that jazz concert with Jim Bonkoski and John Berg, and we went to Soldier Field and saw the Chicago Jazz Fest, 1965 Summer Chicago Jazz Festival. So, yeah, and also beside another thing about Isham Jones, who wrote the song "It Had to Be You." His grandnephew was Rusty Jones, who was a drummer in Chicago, and I used to hire him to play in my band sometimes, and he was quite a character. Excellent drummer, left-handed. Unusual to have a left-handed drummer. So there you go. There is no greater love. Thank you. Boy, Jay, Sliverheels right on top of the musical trivia here. Thank you for that. Okay, so continuing with our foray into the Great American Songbook. The Great American Songbook covers the great, we used to call them standards when I was much younger. I think the musicians in those days just called them standards because they were the Great American Songbook. A lot of the songs were written for films or musicals, and they became standards. Then they would write songs for some of the great singers of the day, like Sinatra had his stable of songwriters that he liked to use. And let's see, what were some? Let me think of a quintessential Great American Songbook song here. And well, we're going to go to the guy who wrote Over the Rainbow. Did this song, and I do this song quite often actually here on Steve's Virtual Piano Bar. If I can only think of the guy who wrote the songs to Wizard of Oz. Well, you'll know everybody knows his name except me right now. He also wrote this song back in the early 30s, which was right in the format when the Great American Songbook creativity was just forming and starting to become a real thing. Harold Arlen, there we go. Boy, I don't know what I'd do if you weren't here, Jay. Thank you. Harold Arlen wrote Over the Rainbow, We're Off to See the Wizard, Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, and and some of those other great songs from Wizard of Oz. But he also wrote this one several years before The Wizard of Oz came out, and it was also done by Sinatra, so I'm keeping my Sinatra hat on. Oh, let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Our hearts are made of it. Let's take a chance. Why be afraid of it? Let's close our eyes and make our own paradise. Little we know of it, still we can try to make a go of it. We might have been meant for each other, to be or not to be, let our hearts discover. Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Now is the time for it while we are young. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Our hearts are made of it. Let's take a chance. Why be afraid of it? Let's close our eyes and make our own paradise. Little we know of it, still we can try to make a go of it. We might have been meant for each other, to be or not to be, let our hearts discover. Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Now is the time for it while we are young. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. Oh yeah, it's break time for the musician, so I'm going to have a sip of coffee here. When I do my evening virtual piano bars, I'll actually open a bottle of wine, but I'm being brave enough to have afternoon coffee, so wish me luck on sleeping tonight. But here's the Starbucks. Starbucks, if anybody from management of Starbucks is watching, you can send me a check right now. Here's or you can just send it to my PayPal account. Or if anybody else wants to leave a tip, that's how you can tip me if you feel so inclined. But I do use Starbucks. Actually, I could be a proponent for Starbucks. I know some people don't like the idea of Starbucks because it's corporate and their coffee is kind of mediocre. I guess there are better brands of coffee out there, I suppose, but Starbucks is good for me as a day-to-day coffee. I don't mind it at all. And so here you go, Starbucks corporate management. You can be a sponsor for my virtual piano bar. That would be very nice. So you know how to reach me. Just my email down there, and I know there's Caribou Coffee. Yeah. Actually, I was at my daughter's. Let me go back. I don't want to be too corporate here myself. I was at my daughter's night before last, and they have at least two different coffee makers. One's for espresso and one's for specialty coffees. And there's those pods. I forget what they're called. Those little pods you put in. You could make coffee by the cup. And I had a cup of coffee yesterday morning that was just, it was exquisite. I said, yeah, okay, you win. This coffee is better than the Starbucks that I'm drinking. So there you go. But this is good enough. It's kind of getting a little cold now after sitting here for 45 minutes. So I'm just going to it's sort of a leisurely Steve's Virtual Piano Bar. And by the way, Christmas Eve, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be 99.9% Christmas music too. So, and if it isn't a Christmas song, it's going to fit in with the vibe of Christmas. So, I might even throw in a Hanukkah song. We'll see. Some of you may know, you can see in back of me here that I do yoga chanting here on Thursday mornings, Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If anyone's interested in listening to the yoga chants, we have a nice little Indian style group that plays and sings the chants. So I don't actually talk about that too much on my jazz channel, but it is one of my hobbies that I like doing. And so do that every Thursday at 11 a.m. If you want more information on that, just message me and I'll give you the link to that. I kind of keep them separate from my jazz channel, but that's what's happening. Also, I apologize for not having my Christmas lights up. It's just been a busy time of the year. It's the season to be jolly, and I've been so jolly that I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance to put up the green and red Christmas lights. So maybe I'll get to that before Christmas Eve if there's any luck any energy. It's not luck. I guess it's being purposeful about it. So there you go. Well, speaking of Great American Song, let's see what year this song is from. 1946. I guess that would count as a Great American Song. Yeah, Great American Song, but kind of started in the 20s. It really had its heyday in the 30s. And there was a core group of songwriters that actually were originally referred to as the core group of songwriters for defining the Great American Songbook. And some of those songwriters in the 30s were like Dietz and Schwartz and George Gershwin and of course Cole Porter and there were several other kind of not necessarily well-known songwriters, but they were really deep into the concept of the Great American Songbook, although they didn't call it that at the time. So here's one from you could call it the late period of the Great American Songbook by Sammy Cahn. Sammy Cahn was championed by Frank Sinatra and others, but I like the song because it was a popular song to be performed at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, and especially not this past, the season before last when I was playing up at the Cupola. The Cupola at the Grand Hotel. Well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. Mackinac Island is Michigan's #1 tourist destination. It's an island. If Michigan is shaped like a hand, and Detroit is over here, and Chicago is over here on the other side of Lake Michigan, then Mackinac Island is up here at the tip in the water of Lake Huron, just off the shoreline enough so that you have to take a ferry boat to get there. There's no bridge to get there. But it's the #1 tourist attraction in Michigan. They have millions of people going there every year and during the season. And the season is, if you're generous about it, it's 6 months, but it's really 3 or 4 months. And the Grand Hotel is this large hotel that was built in the 1880s that it still has that 19th century vibe to it. It is truly a 5-star hotel. And it has it's very, very elegant, and the cupola, this is where I'm going, sits on top of there's a 4-story hotel, but they have a little 5th-story bubble. Well, there's a piano bar, and it's a great gig. It's a great place to play. I did that one complete summer of 2022, and then I was also on the island last season, 2023, where I played at a restaurant called The Woods, and that is a very elegant restaurant. It has, I could go on and on talking about the Mackinac Island, the Grand Hotel, and the Grand Hotel Ballroom, which has a dance orchestra playing old songs, a lot of songs from the Great American Songbook. But so the Things We Did Last Summer is a song by Sammy Kahn, and I'll give it a try. The boat rides we would take, the moonlight on the lake, the way we danced and hummed our favorite song. The things we did last summer, I remember all winter long. The Midway and the fun, the Cupid dolls we won, the bell I rang to prove that I was strong. The things we did last summer, I remember all winter long. The early morning hike, the rented tandem bike, the lunches that we used to pack. We never could explain that early morning rain, the looks we got when we got back. Then leaves began to fade, like promises we made. How could a love that seemed so right go wrong? The things we did last summer, I remember all winter long. The early morning hike, that rented tandem bike, lunches that we used to pair. We never could explain that early morning rain, the looks we got when we got back. Then leaves began to fade, like promises we made. How could a love that seemed so right go wrong? Things we did last summer, I remember all winter long. The things we did last summer, I remember all winter long. All right, well, I just heard a Christmas song. I can't remember where. It was the background music at a restaurant, I think. And I said, I recognize that voice doing a Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. But it wasn't Nat King Cole. It wasn't one of the prominent singers you might think of, like Sinatra or Tony Bennett. And then I realized I was listening to James Taylor's version of a Christmas song. And I had never heard it before. I didn't know James Taylor did a version of that song. So there you go. Even James Taylor does. You could call that song part of the Great American Songbook, a Christmas song. It's definitely in the style of the Great American Songbook. And So James Taylor singing songs from the Great American Songbook. Of course, we know that Rod Stewart did that, and boy, in my opinion, his songs don't have the emotional value that some of the great singers like Sinatra and Tony Bennett have singing. But I guess you could say you could give him credit for trying, and he made a lot of money at it. So anyway, I'm going to do one more song to sign off before I sign off, and all I can say is Christmas coming up December 24th. Every Sunday, 8 p.m., Steve's Virtual Piano Bar. I'm going to try to be as actually, that won't. This Sunday is Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve I have a gig. So the next 2 Sundays, sorry, no Steve's Virtual Piano Bar on Sundays. Well, there is this Sunday for Christmas Eve at a slightly different time, starting at 6:30 p.m. So yeah, this Sunday, yes. New Year's Eve, no Virtual Piano Bar. But Wednesdays, 3 p.m., I'm going to try to keep that going right along. I enjoy doing the afternoons because it leaves my evenings free for a possible gig. And I live out at Song of the Morning Yoga Retreat, and we have activities there. I can participate in that, or I can just sit home and watch a movie in the evening, which is seems like kind of a rare thing. But so the best is yet to come, as they say, as the song says. And what better way to tell you more about this song than to sing it? Jay could tell us more about this song, but it was written by a kind of a hip piano player from the 50s who wrote this song. He also did a song called Big Spender from a musical he wrote. So he had at least 2 very famous songs. Oh, he also had a third. He also did Witchcraft, which Frank Sinatra had a big hit on. And of course, I can't think of his name right now. But even the fact that somebody has 3 songs that are considered part of the Great American Songbook, and having those 3 big hits, that's an amazing accomplishment. And then you think of people like Cole Porter and George Gershwin, Irving Berlin, and Harold Arlen, who had numerous hit songs. They took it off the charts. But Cy Coleman is his name. Thanks, Jay. I said it before you did. Cy Coleman wrote this song called "The Best Is Yet to Come." Out of the tree of life, I've just picked me a plum. You came along and everything started to hum. Still, it's a real good bet. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? Yeah, get that chord. You think you've seen the sun, babe, you ain't seen it shine. Wait till the warm-up's underway. Wait till our lips have met. Wait till you see that sunshine day. You ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine. I'm gonna teach you to fly. We've only tasted the wine. We're gonna drink the cup dry. Wait till your charms are right for these arms to surround. You think you've flown before, but you ain't even left the ground. Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I draw you near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? best is yet to come, come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine, I'm gonna teach you to fly. We've only tasted the wine, we're gonna drink the cup dry. Wait till your chimes are right for these arms to surround. You think you've flown before, babe, you ain't even never left the ground. Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I draw you near. Wait to see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine. 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 The best is yet to come. Yeah. Christmas Eve, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel and other channels. I'm going to broadcast on all my channels Christmas Eve. So have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a great weekend. I hope to see you Sunday evening, Christmas Eve. And if not, I'll see you soon. See you again real soon, because we like you. Thanks, everyone, for coming to Steve's Virtual Piano Bar. We'll see you Sunday night or every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you again. Thank you all. Love you all.